The current financial system as we know it is broken. If everything was ticking along as it should, the central banks of the world wouldn't have to start helping the private banks which have been acting with impunity with other people's money. Bitcoin again is shaping up to be the answer, especially where the future of fiat is concerned. A recent report by Bridgewater Associates founder, Dalio, explores the failings of the current financial system. Lenders are handing out money without consequence because they have a lot of it to give. This is largely because central banks are pushing it onto them and buying financial assets in their futile attempts to push economic activity and inflation up. Dalio adds that prices of financial assets have increased but future expected returns have fallen as economic growth and inflation remains sluggish. Companies can sell dreams without clear profit plans because investors are flush with borrowed money. The system is clearly flawed. The piece continues to add that large government deficits exist, and these will increase substantially, which will require huge amounts of more debt to be sold by governments. Increasing interest rates during an economic downturn is not an option, so the central banks will print more money to buy up the debt. This process is likely to accelerate especially in the reserve currency countries, namely the US, Europe and Japan. He adds that at the same time pension and healthcare liability payments will be due, but there will no longer be the money to cover them. Pension funds that have investments used to meet their obligation use assumed returns which will be way higher than the reality. The third option is the easiest path according to Dalio because there are no limitations made on the amounts of money that can be printed or the value of that money. The risk of this path is that it threatens the viability of the major world reserve currencies as viable stores of wealth. This will ultimately increase the wealth gap as only the creditworthy will have access to borrow more money and those without will fall deeper into financial despair while the value of those reserve currencies will continue to plummet. Bitcoin, with a predetermined supply, immunity from central bank cash printers, and decentralization from any nation or political movement, makes it the perfect solution for this problem. In theory, Bitcoin demand will increase as it becomes the world's currency, giving the control back to the people, not the banks. Shapeshift CEO Erik Voorhees concurred, a massively flawed banking system and the 2008 financial crisis was the catalyst that spawned Bitcoin in the first place. Unfortunately at the moment it is still used as a vehicle for speculation, but that paradigm is likely to shift as the financial system crumbles and fiat becomes worth less than the paper it has been printed on.